Daniel had always felt invisible. At 12 years old, he wandered the streets of his quiet town like a ghost, unnoticed by classmates and often overlooked by his parents. He spent most of his afternoons with a sketchbook in hand, drawing trees, clouds, or anything that gave him company. Life was predictable and lonely until the day he found Rusty. It was a crisp autumn afternoon, the kind when leaves crunched underfoot and the air smelled faintly of smoke from chimneys. Daniel was walking home the long way, enjoying the solitude, when he heard a faint whimper. He froze, scanning the alleyways and overgrown lots for the source. Following the sound, he came to a narrow alley behind a broken fence where he discovered a small, reddish-brown dog cowering against the wall. Its fur was matted, ribs protruding slightly, and eyes wide with a mix of fear and hope. Daniel crouched slowly, holding out his hand. "Hey there, boy," he whispered, heart pounding. The dog tilted its head, sniffed cautiously, then allowed Daniel to stroke his fur. That simple gesture sparked a connection neither had known they needed. Over the following weeks, Daniel returned daily. He brought scraps of food, clean water, and old blankets. He named the dog Rusty because of his fur, and soon Rusty's tail wagged eagerly whenever Daniel appeared. Their friendship blossomed in quiet, small moments, brushing Rusty's fur, laughing as he chased falling leaves, and sharing secrets that Daniel had never told anyone. Rusty became not just a friend but a lifeline for the boy who felt unseen. However, their bond had to be kept hidden. Daniel's parents had strict rules and little patience for stray animals. Each visit required careful planning, timing, avoiding neighbors, and sneaking into the abandoned yard before anyone could notice. Despite the secrecy, the warmth Rusty brought to Daniel's life outweighed the risks. As autumn deepened, Daniel began taking Rusty on cautious walks through quiet streets and fields, always keeping to shadows, always watching for suspicious eyes. Rusty's once timid demeanor changed. He became lively and playful, bounding through the tall grass, sniffing the wind, and resting his head on Daniel's lap during quiet moments. Daniel spoke to Rusty as if he were a confidant, telling him about school, the cruelty of certain classmates, and the solitude he felt at home. Rusty listened with unwavering attention, his gentle presence offering comfort Daniel had never known. But secrets have a way of surfacing. Rumors of a reddish-brown dog wandering the town began to spread. Grumpy neighbors, especially Mr. Grady, noticed Daniel's repeated trips to the alley and whispered suspicions to others. The threat of animal control loomed in the back of Daniel's mind, a shadow he could not ignore. Winter arrived harshly. Snow blanketed the town, and the abandoned yard where Rusty slept became a frozen cage. Daniel watched as the dog shivered through the night, his breath visible in the icy air. One particularly cold morning after a heavy snowfall, Daniel decided he could not leave Rusty to face the freezing world alone. With a blanket draped over his shoulders and a beating heart, he carried Rusty into the basement of his home, hiding him from sight and promising he would keep him safe. Days passed in secrecy, but hiding Rusty became increasingly difficult. His parents began noticing unusual noises, footprints, and the smell of wet fur. Daniel knew the truth could not be hidden forever, and the weight of his secret pressed on him relentlessly. One evening, trembling and tearful, he confessed to his parents about Rusty, about finding him starving, nursing him back to health, and the bond that had formed. His parents were initially shocked, fearful of rules and responsibility, but Daniel's plea was desperate and heartfelt. "He's not dangerous," Daniel said. "He's my friend. He saved me in the storm. Please don't let them take him." The next day they took Rusty to the county shelter. The vet confirmed Rusty was healthy, friendly, and adoptable, though regulations required a 3-day hold in case someone claimed him. Those 3 days were agonizing for Daniel. Every hour stretched like an eternity, each imagined sound from the kennel twisting his stomach with fear. He replayed memories of Rusty's trusting eyes, the way he had nuzzled Daniel's hand, and whispered to himself promises he had made. "I will not lose you. I will bring you home." Finally, on the 3rd day, Daniel's mother received a call. No one had claimed Rusty. Adoption was approved. Daniel raced to the shelter and Rusty leapt into his arms, tail wagging so furiously it seemed his whole body shook. Tears streamed down Daniel's face as he hugged his best friend tightly. He had kept his promise. Rusty was his forever. Their first official adventure together came soon after. They explored the snowy woods beyond the town, Rusty bounding joyfully through the trees, chasing squirrels and sniffing every new scent. At a frozen creek, Rusty slipped on the ice, his paws breaking through the thin layer of frozen water. Daniel crawled carefully to reach him, grasping the leash and pulling him to safety. Both shivered, soaked, and laughing in relief, cementing the trust and love between them. From that day forward, Daniel and Rusty were inseparable. They faced challenges, explored new places, and shared countless moments of joy and comfort. Rusty was no longer just a stray dog, he was a companion, protector, and family. Daniel had discovered that the kind of friendship that could change a life is rare, steadfast, and eternal. In the quiet of the evening, Daniel would often sit by the fireplace, Rusty curled at his feet. The boy who had once felt invisible now felt whole. They had survived cold, fear, and uncertainty, and in doing so had found something far greater, a bond that would last a lifetime. Some friendships aren't just friendships, they are forever. For Daniel and Rusty, that forever had only just begun.